goinda kite for simple matter of amusement. Prince Wyatt saw the Brazilian eagle Urbitinga surrounded by numberless flocks of toucans and caciques (a bird nearly akin to our rook), which mocked it. The eagle, he adds, usually supports these insults very quietly, but from time to time it will catch one of these mockers. In all such cases, the little birds, though very much inferior in force to the bird of prey, prove superior to it by their common action. As to the house sparrows, a New Zealand observer, Mr. T.W. Kirk, described as follows the attack of these impudent birds upon an unfortunate hawk. He heard one day a most unusual noise, as though all the small birds of the country had joined in one grand carol. Looking up he saw a large hawk (C. gouldi, a carrion feeder), being buffeted by a flock of sparrows. They kept dashing at him in scores, and from all points at once. The unfortunate hawk was quite powerless. At last, approaching some scrub, the hawk dashed into it and remained there, while the sparrows congregated in groups round the bush, keeping up a constant chattering and noise. Paper read before the New Zealand Institute, Nature, October 10, 1891. However, the most striking effects of common life for the security of the individual, for its enjoyment of life, and for the development of its intellectual capacities are seen in two great families of birds, the cranes and the parrots. The cranes are extremely sociable and live in most excellent relations, not only with their congeners, but also with most aquatic birds. Their prudence is really astonishing, so also their intelligence. They grasp the new conditions in a moment and act accordingly. Their sentries always keep watch around a flock which is feeding or resting, and the hunters know well how difficult it is to approach them. If man has succeeded in surprising them, they will never return to the same place without having sent out one single scout first, and a party of scouts afterwards. And when the reconnoitring party returns and reports that there is no danger, a second group of scouts is sent out to verify the first report, before the whole band moves. With kindred species, the cranes contract real friendship, and in captivity there is no bird, save the also sociable and highly intelligent parrot, which enters into such real friendship with man. It sees in man not a master but a friend, and endeavours to manifest it. Brehm concludes from a wide personal experience. The crane is in continual activity from early in the morning till late in the night, but it gives a few hours only in the morning to the task of searching its food, chiefly vegetable. All the remainder of the day is given to society life. It picks up small pieces of wood or small stones, throws them in the air and tries to catch them. It bends its neck, opens its wings, dances, jumps, runs about, and tries to manifest by all means its good disposition of mind, and always it remains graceful and beautiful. Brehm 4th 671 sec. As it lives in society, it has almost no enemies, and though Brehm occasionally saw one of them captured by a crocodile, he wrote that except the crocodile he knew no enemies of the crane. It eschews all of them by its proverbial prudence, and it attains as a rule a very old age. No wonder that for the maintenance of a species the crane need not rear a numerous offspring. It usually hatches but 2 eggs. As to its superior intelligence, it is sufficient to say that all observers are unanimous in recognizing that its intellectual capacities remind one very much of those of man. The other extremely sociable bird, the parrot, stands as known at the very top of the whole feathered world for the development of its intelligence. Brehm has so admirably summed up the manners of life of the parrot that I cannot do better than translate the following sentence. Except in the pairing season, they live in very numerous societies or bands. They choose a place in the forest to stay there, and thence they start every morning for their hunting expeditions. The members of each band remain faithfully attached to each other, and they share in common good or bad luck. All together they repair in the morning to a field, or to a garden, or to a tree, to feed upon fruits. They post sentries to keep watch over the safety of the whole band, and are attentive to their warnings. In case of danger, all take to flight, mutually supporting each other, and all simultaneously return to their resting place. In a word, they always live closely united. They enjoy society of other birds as well. In India, the jays and crows come together from many miles round to spend the night in company with the parrots in the bamboo thickets. When the parrots start hunting, they display the most wonderful intelligence, prudence, and capacity of coping with circumstances. Take, for instance, a band of white carradoos in Australia. Before starting to plunder a cornfield, they first send out a reconnoitring party which occupies the highest trees in the vicinity of the field. while other scouts perch upon the intermediate trees between the field and the forest and transmit the signals. If the report runs all right, a score of kakadu's will separate from the bulk of the land, take a flight in the air, and then fly towards the trees nearest to the field. They also will scrutinize the neighborhood for a long while, and only then will they give the signal for general advance, after which the whole band starts at once and plunders the field in no time. The Australian settlers have the greatest difficulties in beguiling the prudence of the parrots, but if man with all his art and weapons has succeeded in killing some of them, the kakadu's become so prudent and watchful that they henceforward baffle all stratagems. Or Landenfeld in Der Zoologist Garten 1889. There can be no doubt that it is the practice of life in society which enables the parrots to attain that very high level of almost human intelligence and almost human feelings which we know in them. Their high intelligence has induced the best naturalists to describe some species, namely the grey parrot, as the birdman. As to their mutual attachment, it is known that when a parrot has been killed by a hunter, the others fly over the corpse of their comrade with shrieks of complaints, and themselves fall the victims of their friendship. As Audubon said, and when two captive parrots, though belonging to two different species, have contracted mutual friendship, the accidental death of one of the two friends has sometimes been followed by the death from grief and sorrow of the other friend. It is no less evident that in their societies they find infinitely more protection than they possibly might find in any ideal development of beak and claw. Very few birds of prey or mammals dare attack any but the smallest species of parrots, and Brehm is absolutely right in saying of the parrots, as he also says of the cranes and the sociable monkeys, that they hardly have any enemies besides men, and he adds, it is most probable that the larger parrots succumb chiefly to old age rather than die from the claws of any enemies. Only man, owing to his still more superior intelligence and weapons, also derived from association, succeeds in partially destroying them. Their very longevity would thus appear as a result of their social life. Could we not say the same as regards their wonderful memory, which also must be favoured in its development by society, life, and by longevity accompanied by a full enjoyment of bodily and mental faculties till a very old age? As seen from the above, the war of each against all is not the law of nature. Mutual aid is as much a law of nature as mutual struggle, and that law will become still more apparent when we have analyzed some of the associations of birds and those of the mammalia. A few hints as to the importance of the law of mutual aid for the evolution of the animal kingdom have already been given in the preceding pages, but their purport will still better appear when, after having given a few more illustrations, we shall be enabled presently to draw therefrom our conclusions. End of chapter 1. Recording by Enko. If you would like to send me an email, you can reach me at enkobilal@yahoo.com. That's enkobilal@yahoo.com.